Welcome to NinjaCast, a photography podcast powered by Studio Ninja, the world's highest rated business management app, built specifically for photographers. Listen and learn as the most successful photographers on the planet share their knowledge to help you transform every element of your photography business. Here's your host, Sally Shaw.
Hi guys, welcome to NinjaCast. Today I'm joined by the amazing Micaela Lindsay. Now Micaela is the queen when it comes to Facebook and Instagram ads and also runs a Facebook group and community and course for photographers to teach them how to get it together with their business. I can't wait to be able to pick her brains, so let's get started. Hi Micaela, how are you doing?
Hi, Sally. So nice to chat to you today.
You too. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm really excited to get my teeth into this one today and learn some more. So I'm sure our listeners will be as well.
Yeah, I hope that everyone kind of ends the listening experience feeling a bit more empowered and a bit more like they can tackle this next big thing in their business.
Absolutely. I can't wait. So for our listeners that might not have heard of you, can you give us a bit of an overview of your business, your time in the industry so far?
Yeah, of course. So my name is Micaela and I live in London. I'm originally South African and I kind of fell into wedding photography a little bit like everyone does, sort of accidentally. I was always interested in photography. I was doing a lot of like street portraiture inspired by humans of New York. And a good friend of mine in Durban who eventually shot my wedding was a wedding photographer at the time. And she said, well, do you want to come help out with me, help me out for the day? And I thought, yeah, that sounds like fun. And we did a full Saturday wedding. And I got home at about 1 a.m. and she texted me and she said, I actually have another one tomorrow. But like, I don't know, did you have a nice time? Like, are you sure you want to do it? And I was like, absolutely. That was so much fun. It was so engaging to be sort of challenged by photography in so many different ways throughout the day. So I did that. And within probably about 6 months, a couple people asked me to shoot for them. And again, I did what we all do. I undercharged and over-delivered because that made me feel safe and secure. And I did that for a while in South Africa while I was completing my master's. And when my now husband and I moved over to London, I thought, you know what, I'll bring my gear over, but I'm going to get a quote unquote, air quotes, a real job, a 9 to 5. And I started my career in innovation and I worked for Cancer Research UK. And then I was made redundant at the beginning of 2019. And I thought, you know what, I am not made to work for other people. I think I'm going to go back to this wedding photography thing. Yeah. And, a big part of that is why I became so good at Facebook ads and why I really focused on running my business as efficiently as I could, because I wanted to, have multiple businesses. But first off, I had to build up this wedding photography business in a country where I knew no one. I didn't go to school with anybody. I didn't go to uni with anybody. I wasn't starting out fresh, so I had to really dive in and earn properly very, very quickly. And now I still live in London. I am still a wedding photographer. The pandemonium did not break me. I'm still here. And I have 2 other businesses as well. So one is that I teach other wedding professionals and their business like CEOs. And a lot of that is around paid marketing and Facebook and Instagram ads. And then I also have a socially conscious gift boxing business that I started last year. And so again, another big reason why I'm so passionate about making your work life as easy and as efficient as possible, because if you've got a lot going on, it can really overwhelm you and you can kind of want to take a very long nap under a very large to-do list. So that's kind of I do.
Amazing. You sound like a bit of a girl after my own heart. You like to be busy. You like to have kind of multiple things going on to keep your interest going, which is amazing. But I mean, that's got to be pretty overwhelming for somebody that isn't super duper organized and has it all down to a T, right? Now, I know that you do a lot of education for wedding creatives in general, not just photographers, around, running your business like a professional, like a CEO, really owning it and not feeling like, you work for your business, but that your business works for you. So what are your tips around that? I mean, I feel like we really need to pick your brains on this. It's such a massive topic, I know, but maybe just a few little golden nuggets of information for them.
Yeah, I've narrowed this down to 3 things that I think have helped me the most. And I do want to caveat this with, not everyone is going to want to run their business the way I do. Not everyone is going to, there is a big conversation right now around hustle culture, and should we be feeling like we have to work 24/7? And if you've chosen this career to not do that, then that is absolutely fine. And I would still encourage you to take some of these tips. And if I'm talking about, making more money or saving time, it might not be to do more work. It might be to spend time with your children. It might be to, if you are a photographer, to have a passion project that you're photographing on the side. So I really don't want to, I probably am the poster girl for hustle culture, but that's a very personal, I like to work hard and I have a lot of things on the go. Yeah. I don't want you to feel like you have to. So I just really want to make that a safe space. I don't want people to be rocking themselves in the corner after this podcast. But there are a couple of things that I think can help you really transition from running your business like an employee and making decisions like a CEO would. And the three things that I would like to impart with you is, the first thing is to remove emotion from your decisions. And I think as creatives, we are very emotional, and we've gone into these industries because they are in more enjoyable spaces for us than perhaps a corporate world or something that's a bit more strict. But what I think happens is then we start to make decisions based on either emotion or comparison. So again, as a photographer, I can use that as a good example. But if someone's suddenly doing lockdown doorstep portraits, and I'm seeing all these people spending weeks and weeks and weeks editing all these photos, and I'm thinking, in my brain as the CEO, I'm thinking, okay, well, you're spending time, money, and effort getting there. You're only charging £30 per hour. You're then also adding this on. What are all the other things you could be doing? And are you doing it? That's perhaps, I know people were doing it for a very good reason, but even if it was family portraits or suddenly offering a new service, what are the reasons that you're doing it? Are you doing it because everybody else is doing it, because you feel like you need to? Or are you actually making a strategic business decision? And again, your business is your life. Unfortunately, there really isn't a switch off point. So when I talk about making business decisions, it really is a decision around your lifestyle, your income, your capacity, your availability. It really affects everything. So if you can practice, and I use the word practice because it's very hard in the beginning, but to remove emotion from your decisions when it comes to your business, that is going to be more of a CEO mentality, because I can guarantee you right now, no one's going up to a CEO and he's going, well, I don't know, that makes me feel a little bit scared, or I don't know. He's going, right, well, how will this benefit our business? How will this improve us? How will this create more time and more availability for our staff? They're making decisions without the emotions and without the comparisons. So that's the first thing. The second thing is to focus on growth. And I don't necessarily, again, mean financial growth, but even time. So focus on what is going to give you more capacity. If your goal is to get a lot of money, because money does mean resource, and money means you can pay for someone to look after your kids, you can take a nice holiday, you can pay off your mortgage. We are very pro the wedding industry earning what they should be earning. But even if that's not the case, focus on growth. So what I mean by that is, a lot of people, and I know that this is a Studio Ninja podcast, and I will say that I am Dub Sado, but I will also tell you in a little bit that it doesn't matter what you choose. But if it does not matter, pick one. Pick one that is going to grow the amount of time you have. Just pick one. And whatever you're investing, I suppose maybe that's the right way of putting it, focus on investing so that you are kind of reaping the rewards. So whether it's investing time in learning a new form of marketing, or investing money into Facebook ads, or investing time and a bit of money into setting up a CRM, you need to be, a CEO is not thinking about how much time or money they're giving up. They're thinking about what they can gain. And I think that's a really big mindset shift. And then the third thing is, yes, you should question why you're doing certain things. And that's kind of a little bit on the first point. Just because everybody else is doing family portraits doesn't mean it's right for you. So question why you're wanting to do something, but don't waste time making decisions. Pick a software, pick a piece of gear, pick a website platform. You can figure it out later. But again, CEOs and successful businesses are not having meetings up. Well, some are probably, but shouldn't be having meetings after meetings after meetings, comparing software. Just get out of that Facebook group, Just choose one, start one. That is going to be the biggest and fastest thing that's going to move your business forward. So I would say don't waste time making decisions, but at the same time, question why you're making those decisions.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like we could end the podcast there. That's all of it. That's all of it all done. And that's your golden nuggets for today. Love that. So, I mean, moving on from being kind of the CEO of your business, I think a lot of things that often stop people from doing that and having that mentality is there's things about business that scare us. There's things about business that we just go, don't know what I'm doing with that. Have no idea where to begin. For me, one of those big things is Facebook adverts and Instagram adverts, which I know you are a bit of a queen at. So I couldn't let this opportunity pass by to not kind of take one for the team with our listeners and try and pick your brains on some top tips for that. I mean, I know you do a whole course around it, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I've got a course called the No Fluff Facebook and Instagram ads course, but not here to pitch. So I think there are a couple of tips, and again, pinch of salt with this one. But the first one is, it is just money. And I'm not saying that I know money is important. I know money can mean feeding your kids, and you can feel that way about money some parts of the day, some parts of running your business, but there are other times when you have to think, you know what, if it is £5 a day or £10 a day or £100 a day, whatever your budget is, and you can do, I've got a lot of students who are running very successful ads on just a couple quid a day. Mm-hmm. But the point is that once you shift, the biggest mindset people have is that, oh my goodness, I'm going to be wasting money. Mm. And again, a CEO is not thinking that. They're thinking, okay, I've made a decision to test this out with this amount of money. I know that I could earn that back if I needed to, but if it is successful, these are things that could happen for my business. Mm-hmm. And I think with that, that's my caveat to say, just start. I think you do need to find the right resources, whether that is a course or a person or YouTube. You need to decide what is worth your time. If you want to spend 3 weeks delving into everything on YouTube, or whether you want to just pay someone a once-off fee and have access to a course, that is up to you. You are a grown-up. You can make that decision yourself. Yeah. But I think if we are thinking about our wedding businesses or our service-based businesses, because I'm sure there's lots of people who use Studio Ninja who might not be wedding specific. But if you're thinking about it as a shop, as a physical space, you need to be thinking about maybe everyone who hears about you through the grapevine or maybe clicks on your website as someone who's just walking past. Mm-hmm. And maybe some people come in and they have a browse and they go, do you know what? This isn't really my style. I don't really like this shop. It's not my vibe. And they walk out. Mm-hmm. Maybe someone comes in and they pick up an item and they look at the bottom and they're like, oof, this is out of my price range. And maybe occasionally someone will come in and they'll do all of that and they'll come up to the till and they'll ask you a question. Mm-hmm. That's a lovely inquiry. And maybe someone will actually buy something from you. And so when you're thinking about I think our websites and our marketing strategies can be quite abstract. But when you think about your business like a shop, what paid advertising allows you to do is to make sure that you're in a bit more control over who's walking past your shop, who's coming inside, what types of people they are. And if they've come inside once, can you get them to come inside twice? Can you show them the right types of information? And all you're essentially doing is you're paying a platform, in this case, Facebook or Instagram, and you are paying that platform to get you more of those people to wander past your shop. Mm-hmm. And I think once we demystify things around Facebook and Instagram ads, we make it seem a little bit easy and a bit more accessible, it makes absolute sense, because people pay for wedding fairs all the time. So it makes absolute sense that you would want to put some money, some effort, some education behind getting more people on your, in your store, on your website, on your platform. Mm-hmm. And it really is about, a lot of my students, and it's getting a bit harder, I will be honest with that, but a lot of my students kind of see a 1 to 10 return, because the services we offer are very expensive services. We're really lucky in our industry that we're not selling something for 10 quid. And so a lot of people will see if they put in £10 or $10, they're going to get anywhere from £50 to £100 or $50 to $100 back. And the most important thing outside of that is they're also getting their time back, because they're not spending time at wedding fairs or responding to messages in groups full of budget couples or anything like that. You're also getting your time back. So I think other than going into very specific nitty-gritty of what to do with Facebook ads. I think you need to just start. It is just money. Think about your business like a shop or a storefront. Find the right resources to help you start that you feel comfortable with, and know that that's a good investment regardless. And then ultimately, if you have done any of those things already, it is about patience. It is about patience and learning and trying something, and maybe it didn't work, and trying something else and seeing where you end up and learning a bit more. And that is the only, quick trick, which is not even a quick trick, but that is the only thing that everyone can guarantee with Facebook ads, that you do need to be patient and you do need to be in it for the long haul. It is a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things. I think people perhaps try and go, oh yeah, I'll put £50 or I'll put £10 on, this post that I did because it went really well. And, then I decided to turn it into an ad, and then it flops, or it does a little bit, there's a little bit of interaction or some new inquiries there, but it's not what you wanted it to be. And I think that's then the place where people go, oh, well, that doesn't work.
Exactly. Can I tell you the cheesiest saying that I heard years ago? It's so cheesy, but it's perfect for Facebook ads. And it basically says, if the first grape you ever taste is a sour grape, you're going to assume that all grapes are sour. But if you have a really delicious, juicy grape, you will taste a lot of sour grapes until you get that juicy grape again. And I always think about that with Facebook ads, because I always think a lot of people have just had a really bad first grape, and they're just all grapes must be sour. No, thank you. Not for me. And there's a few of us who've had that success, who are willing to kind of go through all the sour bits until we get the sweet grapes again. And we're like, right, there we go. We knew you were in there somewhere. I think, people need to have some patience and push themselves to wait out until they get to the good grapes again.
Yeah, definitely. I'm intrigued to kind of pick your brains on what your thoughts are. There's a bit of a kind of a murmur amongst the industry, or in general at the moment, surrounding Facebook and Instagram and as a platform as a whole. How are you feeling? Obviously, you're very experienced in running adverts and running your business through it. What are your thoughts on, where it's at? Do you feel like it's getting more difficult for business owners on Facebook? Is there a way around it? Are there any tips for people?
So I think there are a lot of tips that, let me go back a little bit. Yes, it is more difficult. It has become more difficult due to a couple of reasons. One is that there's just more competition, and this is across the board with any paid marketing. So whether you're doing Google ads or even SEO, there's just a lot more competition. People are becoming a lot better at incorporating those elements in their marketing strategy. So there's more competition. And then there are certain rules and regulations that have made it more difficult for, I suppose, Facebook and soon Google to basically be able to track data and understand data. And that is a lot of what makes it quite easy, or what made it quite easy in the past to advertise. And then things are just across the board getting more expensive. And essentially all of these paid marketing platforms work like an auction. So the more people who are going to be at an auction bidding on the same item, it's just going to naturally drive the price up. And you'll see that happens especially in Q4 and quarter four. So leading up to Christmas, you've got Black Friday, you've got Christmas. That's a really expensive time to advertise. So all of these factors are just the way it is. Does that mean that you shouldn't be advertising? Absolutely not. I had a student who just recently finally got some time to themselves to delve into the course, and within a week, I think a week and a half, she'd already booked somebody. So my point is that no matter what, and no matter what business you run, and I run Facebook ads for my gift boxing business, which is a lot harder, let me tell you, than the wedding industry. And I run it for my course as well. Regardless, there are people out there who are looking for you. And I think that's the fastest and easiest way for you to get in front of those people is through some form of paid marketing. And so I think no matter how hard it gets, you should always have that in your toolkit to be able to show up where people are actively searching for you. And if you are finding it difficult, I would recommend you find a single person, again, whether that's on YouTube or through me or someone else, but find someone that you know that you can trust, someone whose teaching style you understand. And then again, if we go back to earlier, Don't waste time making decisions. What do they think? Just do that.
Yeah.
You're going to get into decision paralysis. If you watch 300 YouTube videos, you're not going to be any the wiser than if you just watched one and did what they did and learned from it.
Yeah.
So keep learning, keep testing things out. But above all, do not rest on your marketing.
I love that. That's a really great kind of takeaway, I guess, is that, it all feeds back to this decision-making process and just starting, not waiting for tomorrow, not waiting till later, not just watching one more video. It's just give it a go and, see where it takes you. I think a lot of the time as well, there's always different ways of going about things, aren't there? Like you said, different teaching styles, but you'll often hear one person tell you to do one thing with Facebook ads, another person tell you to do another. And there's so many pools of thought, isn't there? So I think it's just about finding what resonates with you and what you think matches you in your business and go with that.
Exactly.
I love that. So moving on from Facebook ads, I feel like we could do a whole episode just on that. Analyzing your business is, I think, something, I know I forget to do it. I can't remember the last time I kind of sat down and kind of tracked where I was up to, looked at how the year went in comparison to how I wanted it to go, and things like that. Why is it important for business owners to be doing that, to be looking where they're up to and where they want to be?
It's because it's the only feedback that we have. It's the only thing that, and I hate numbers. I am not a numbers person.
Me too.
I am self-diagnosed mathematically dyslexic. They all look the same to me. But when you are a creative and when it is just you running a business, it is just you day in, day out, making those decisions, spending that money, putting in that effort, and you don't have a boss or a team to say, well, yes, this is an improvement on the previous quarter. Fantastic. You're doing a good job. And you don't have, often the services we provide our couples they're not really linked back to how well our business is doing, because it tends to be quite a one-off thing in most service-based industries. So you're not going to necessarily get the feedback of, yes, your business is doing well from your individual clients. So the only feedback you have is data. That's it. And so what I always teach my students is that data equals decisions, because otherwise you're going to get stuck in that emotional feedback loop. Mm-hmm. And you're kind of going to go, well, I don't know if I should make this decision. And again, I can guarantee you that CEOs are going, well, what does the data tell us? Okay, the data tells us that, for example, in my case, I know that around 80% of all couples who get on a phone call with me will convert. I have a very high conversion rate on the phone, and it's just something that I know about me. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know it was that high, because obviously everyone that doesn't book you seems massive and super important and you think you're failing. But once I realized that 80% of the people who will jump on the phone with me will convert, it meant A, I could value those phone calls and know that it was something I was good at without getting any sort of feedback. And B, it meant that I know in my marketing process, it is so valuable to me to get someone on the phone with me. And I know that based on what I charge for my services, I'd be happy to pay up to, if someone said to me, how much would you pay? I've got someone who wants to have a phone call with you. I know what that is worth, what value I would put on that. And it is easily 100 to 200, possibly even 250 pounds, because I know that that is going to be good for my business.
Yeah.
If I have someone follow me on Instagram, I know it's worth diddly squat. Mm-hmm. Because I track things. And so I put a lot less pressure on myself to post on Instagram than I do to have my CRM set up in a way that makes that booking a call process really easy and effective. Yeah. Because again, I'm not looking at anybody else in the business. I'm looking at my own numbers and my own data. And I know that people who inquire via my website are my best performing conversions. They're just going to book with me. So all of those things help you make decisions and help you make decisions faster. And if there is one thing that I would love to almost pick up the entire creative service industry and just sort of shake us all, is to stop wasting time making decisions. And I've said it already, stop going into Facebook groups and saying, well, what about this? And what about that? Just make a call. You're going to learn from it either way. And you're going to waste a lot less of your precious time doing it. And if you are tracking data efficiently, so important things to track would be who is inquiring with you and how are they finding out about you? Have that in your form when they are in your sort of your lead capture form. You know, do they find out from you through Facebook, through another photographer, through someone else? How many of those people who are inquiring, through what channels? How many of those then, and you can get as nitty-gritty as you want, are replying to your initial email? in my case, 99% of the people who book me will have replied to that initial email. So I've put a lot less pressure on myself and my CRM from sending follow-up emails, because I know that actually most of the people who book me will respond to that first email. That's a pretty good statistics I have. Other things would be, how much are they spending? So people who are referred to me through ex-clients, which has only recently started to happen, or people who know me, convert faster and pay me a lot more. That's an important feature to have. So it means that I know that I'm not sending out gifts to my clients from an emotion. I mean, I am a gift giver, but not from an emotional perspective, but I'm sending it to them because I know that if they do speak to their friends and those people inquire with me, it's actually good for my business. So I think that's all of the reasons that you should be tracking that information. You can do it as simply as in a spreadsheet. If your CRM allows for it, you can do that. You can look at it once a year. You can look at it every week. You can look at it just when you need to make a decision. But the important thing is that that data is going to empower you to make a better, quicker decision that will be focused on your business growth. And that is what every creative should have, because it's going to free you up to be more creative and to focus on the part of your business that you really love and enjoy.
Yeah, definitely. It's the I guess the more boring parts of it, isn't it, that we tend to shy away from, and, you know, tracking and analyzing and really looking at, yes, what works, but also, yes, what doesn't work is always not going to be the most enjoyable task for some people. But it's massive, isn't it? It's really important to do. From a kind of, again, a business perspective, strategy in business is massive, isn't it? You know, I think a lot of us come into this business and we don't have a strategy. I certainly didn't. Like you say, a lot of us fall into, you know, the wedding industry. How can we create a business strategy? Where do we start with that?
So I think strategy gets quite a bad reputation. And another thing I like to remind my students and people I speak to is that strategy is not a dirty word. So being strategic, this is my sort of rough description and how I feel about it. It's making the best decision with the resources you have that will get you to your goals. That's it. And that is a kindness. That is a kindness to you. It's a kindness to your couples. You are being strategic. You're not overexerting yourself. You are not wasting time or resource or effort. It is a good thing to do. And it is not a dirty thing or a conniving thing to be strategic and have a strategy. And I think it gets quite a bad reputation. So what you need to be doing, whether you want to create an entire marketing strategy, I mean, that's the first thing I have my students do in the course, so that they're not making, I don't want to say stupid decisions, but they're not making unnecessary decisions or the wrong decisions for their business when it comes to paid marketing. If you want to go that route, you can, but at the very least, pause and ask yourself, am I making the right decision that is getting me to the goals that I have for my business, for my life? Am I making the decision based on the resources I have or the resources I can get? So like, am I using what I have to do that? And I think a lot of times people say yes to a lot of things. Again, things like saying, oh yeah, I'm going to start offering family photography in addition to wedding photography. But if you think about it, you are better off taking on one wedding booking. At least in my business, I'm better off taking one wedding booking on a Saturday at a high price point than disrupting my random Wednesday by driving an hour away to photograph a family that is never an hour. It's always an hour and a bit. And by the time you've had some tea and you come back, that is not worth my time. It doesn't mean that I don't enjoy photographing families, but I've made a strategic decision based on my business goals, my time goals, my lifestyle goals, that even though that shiny thing of like, oh, but it's more money, it is not worth my time. I would be better off spending that Wednesday that is already disrupted because I've now driven and, you know, spent time with a cute baby, already disrupted, writing a blog post or revisiting my Facebook ads or engaging on Instagram, or there's a lot of other things that would better serve me. And that is a strategic decision. So even if you don't want to have a full fat business strategy or a marketing strategy, you need to remove emotion from the equation, remove comparison from the equation, and ask what is right for you. And it doesn't always have to be financial. If you enjoy making reels and they give you a little bit of joy, make a reel. But I'm not making reels because it doesn't help my business. I've tried it, I've tested it, I've learned it. Do you know what? It's not working for me. I'd rather take that entire day that they're going to take and value that at hell, £20 an hour for an entire day, that's, £160 if it's an 8-hour day. My time is worth that amount. I might as well put that money into ads and actually get a booking that way rather than, putting it into creating reels. And that's all that we're doing when we're having sort of a strategy or making strategic decisions. The most important thing is to know your goals, have a good understanding of what resources you have, and then essentially, and I've written here, say yes more to the right things and say no more to the wrong things.
That's a really difficult one, right?
It's so hard. It sounds so simple. It's so hard. A lot of it requires a lot of practice, but that is it. That is what strategy is. And I think if you don't have it, you are going to be overwhelmed, overworked. And even though I'm always overwhelmed and overworked, I know that I'm at least overwhelmed and overworked within my strategy that's getting me to my goals. The worst thing is to be overwhelmed, overworked, and kind of just be spinning around in a circle and not moving forward. And I don't want that for anybody.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's always a hurdle, I guess, to get to the point in your business and the point in yourself as a person where, you feel confident enough to say, I can say yes to that, and I'm going to say no to that, and that. And that's always really, I'm definitely a yes person. I'll do anything for everybody. I'll already have a million plates spinning and 4 people will come and ask me to spin 2 more each, and I'll carry on doing that as well. And, it's one of those things we hear burnout a lot in the industry, don't we? Where people, they get themselves to the point where they physically can't do it anymore. And I guess that comes from a lot of what you're saying is not having that strategy, not working within it, and not, valuing your time to be able to say, no, thank you.
Exactly. And I think an important thing about if you balance strategy along with data-based decisions and being the CEO of your business, you will find how much easier it is to make a decision to spend a couple £100 a year on a CRM. Because you can then very quickly go, well, of course I would do that. If that's going to free me from the stress of double booking, it's going to track my information from me. It's going to reduce the amount of time I'm spending on something by 80%. Well, that's worth way more than a couple £100 a year. And that ease of making those decisions is what I want everyone to get to. And I know it seems, if you're sitting there and you're going, but I only have 2 clients, but I don't have enough money. Every time that you are working on something in your business, if it is not aligned to your strategy, you need to ask yourself, well, if I'm focused on this, what am I ignoring? What else in my business could I be working on that could be bringing in more revenue, more time, more clients? If you are formatting by hand a contract every time someone gets in touch, think about what else you could be doing. You could be taking a nap. You could be spending time with your kids. You could be working on a passion project. You could be writing a blog. You could be watching some TV. There are so many things. So I think once you do get comfortable with that and you have a strategy that you're comfortable with the sort of the rainbow at the end of the tunnel is that decision-making becomes easier, and the right kinds of decision-making becomes a lot easier. And it makes it easier for you to run your business in the right way for you. And I think that's, if you're sitting here feeling overwhelmed, keep powering through, because it does get easier and it will become so much easier for you to run a business that works for you instead of you working for it.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like you're a very positive, you've got everything together kind of person, Micaela. So I'm sure our listeners will be hearing the same things, feeling the same vibes. How did you, have you always been this person? Have you had to kind of work on mindset and really, channel that positivity into your business to get all of this knowledge? How's it worked for you?
I mean, hold on.
Big question.
Big question. And I want to be honest. So I would say that, yes, I am a very ambitious, driven person. Absolutely. However, that does not mean that for most of 2019, while I was also getting married and planning that, I was not absolutely bricking it. And, I currently have a big studio space in a building that has a coffee shop downstairs. And the amount of times that I needed to it's 10 minutes away from my house, the amount of times that I needed to walk from my house just to get out, just to breathe. And I sat downstairs at the coffee shop holding back tears and texting my husband being like, my redundancy money is almost out. I've been running, and I've got these, if you go on my website, you can actually even see these texts a year apart, or I think 18 months apart, where I'm texting him and saying, but I spent £100 on Facebook ads today and no one's booked. I've spent more money, like nothing, what am I doing wrong? So I have been there. I've absolutely been there. But I think the important thing is that when you are practicing that mindset, when you are kind of going, or not even mindset, sometimes mindset only comes afterwards. When you are practicing that decision making of moving forwards, what is the best decision, not for me right now, but for the business I want to have? Okay, let me try that. So almost if you can give yourself some space where you can see that clarity, even if you don't feel it in the moment, but you can go, okay, I know that if I do this, so if I get a CRM, or if I spend some extra time working on some email templates that I can send out to my couples, that means that then I won't be overwhelmed or emotional every time someone emails me and panics. Okay, that's a good thing to do. And you do that little thing. And then the next time you go, okay, that's working out really well. I enjoy not feeling overwhelmed every time someone emails me. Maybe I can now justify spending some time, money, and effort in setting up a CRM. And so you're sort of taking those steps every day, every week, however you are working on your business. And you're doing that, but you're always focused on building a better business. And again, that might be a lifestyle decision. I've built my wedding business to run on a day a week outside of shooting, if that, because I want to have more businesses. That's just, and I'm not saying that's right for everybody, but that's what I've done. And that's why I've learned to sort of, that very clear goal has helped me make those decisions.
Yeah.
So I think that's important. I think the things that I've written down here in terms of mindset is to ignore everyone else. Just if it's not helpful, get off Instagram, block people, unfollow people, build the business that's right for you. And when I do say build the business that's right for you, I do want you to know your numbers, because if you're seeing someone who's booking 57 weddings and you're going, that's not right for me, why? Is it because you have different expenses? Is it because you charge way more than they do? You need to know the data behind those decisions. Otherwise you will sort of get lured by shiny objects and comparisonitis. Get clear on what's important to you in your business, whether that's visual. I have a visual mood board that I found really helpful, or written down. Make that visible and prominent. So it's kind of like, if you then go to a meetup and everyone's sort of like, oh, I've got this and I'm amazing with this and I've bought this and I've got this gear, you're going, that's fine. It's good for you. It's not right for me. It's good for you. It's not right for me. So be very clear on that. And then mindset is just a daily practice. I have practiced a lot, and when I have pushed myself further, I have found the right books, I found the right people, I found the right coaches. So you will see what you need when you need it. But I think clarity is sort of the first step, because I think when you are clear on what is right for you, a lot of the rest of it tends to sort of fade away, which is really helpful.
Definitely. I love that. If you could start your career all over again, Micaela, is there anything you'd change? Anything you wish you knew?
I think I would like to have realized that I was an entrepreneur earlier. I think it took me a long time to kind of go, oh yeah, that is what I'm supposed to be doing. So I think that, and I think that's it really. I think I've been quite good at always saying yes to opportunities and feeling very comfortable if they weren't what I thought they were going to be, or if I didn't like them. And so there was me saying yes to wedding photography while it made sense. And I'm very happy to also walk away from that when it doesn't make sense anymore. And so I think other than starting earlier to sort of learn mistakes and learn things quicker, I think I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out.
I love that. I guess that again feeds back to that, running your business like a CEO, say yes to it when it's working, and when it isn't working, walk away. I love that. Fantastic. If you could add a final piece of advice, something for our listeners that's made a big difference to your life personally or your business life, what would that one piece of advice be?
I think there are lots of bits of advice that have made sense to me, but the thing that I would like to share with everybody that made the most sense or resonated the most with my students and my community throughout the pandemonium of last year is that no one else is going to run your business for you. No one else is coming to raise their hand and say, I know how to do it better. I know what you need to do. I've got some leads for you. I've got some clients for you. I've got a website ready for you. No one is coming to raise their hand to run your business for you. And when I think you realize that, I think, A, it scares you a little bit. But B, it means that, well, whatever you do is going to be good enough because there is no one else coming. So just do something, because the alternative is no action at all. And so I think when you sort of realize that it is up to you, and you can be both parts scared and both parts excited by it.
Yeah.
But when you realize it is all on you, then you know that no matter what you do, it is the best, because no one else is going to be doing anything else. Okay. And that's what you've got to work with. And so I think take that as you are in charge. You get to make the decisions. You can make as much money, as much or as little money, as many clients or as little clients as you want. But it is up to you. You're in charge. And I think we sometimes forget that. So you've totally got this. It's just a matter of taking the next step and ticking one thing off your to-do list, and then the next one, and the next one, and then the next one.
I love it. So inspiring. Thank you so much, Micaela. If our listeners would like to get in touch with you, come and check out your courses, your education side of your business, have some questions for you even, how can they get in touch?
My photography is on Instagram at Micaela Karina Photography. And if you are looking for my education, that is education.micaelakarina.com. There are a couple of free resources, some really sexy looking spreadsheets. And obviously there is a Facebook and Instagram course. If you would like to come and hang out with us in our Facebook group, it is called Get It Together Business Mindset for Wedding Creatives. And you can hang out with us. We sometimes do free challenges that help you figure out Facebook and Instagram ads. And if you happen to be in the UK and you happen to be looking for a nice gift box, you can check out thatcounts.co.
Do you know, I've been one of your targeted adverts people, which shows that your ads and your marketing is definitely working, because I'm totally one of those people that laps all that up and like, I want to build pretty boxes and send them out to people as surprises.
Well, exactly. And that's the other thing. If, a lot of us will have a lot of fingers and a lot of pies. When you do kind of get to grips with Facebook and Instagram ads, they're really, really helpful to test things out. You got a new idea, you want to see if it's worth pursuing, chuck up an ad, get some stuff going, get some people in front of your shop. And so I think it's good to hear that is working for me as well. That's quite comforting.
I love it. Well, thank you so much. I honestly can't thank you enough for today. It's been wonderful. I've learned millions, and I feel really pumped to go and work on my business. So I know our listeners definitely will as well.
Amazing. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh, thank you. Hopefully I'll catch you again soon.
Bye.
Thanks, Micaela. Bye. Okay, guys, that's everything from me today. Thank you so much again to Micaela for joining us. I feel absolutely pumped and like I can't wait to go and smash my business now. So I hope you guys feel exactly the same too. If you'd like to see the show notes, you can head to www.studioninja.co/episode 47. Please don't forget to rate us on the podcast platform that you're listening on. A little bit of love goes a very long way. I'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to this episode of NinjaCast, brought to you by Studio Ninja. Beautifully designed and super easy to use, Studio Ninja will help you manage your leads, clients, shoots, invoices, contracts, workflows, and so much more. To learn more or start your 30-day free trial, go to www.studioninja.co.